There's a $2 white powder sitting on hardware store shelves right now that kills every cockroach in your home, permanently, without poison, without chemicals, and without a single recurring purchase ever again. It works in 72 hours. It leaves no toxic residue. It cannot build resistance. And once it works, it keeps working for years. The pest control industry charges you $150 to $400 per visit. They return every 3 months. They sell you monthly spray contracts that cost $1,200 a year. This $2 bag ends all of that forever. One application, done. But there is something else you need to know. 14 states have introduced restrictions around how this powder can be marketed, sold, and recommended by licensed pest professionals. Not because it is dangerous, not because it fails. The restrictions exist precisely because it succeeds too completely. A $22 billion pest control industry does not survive when a $2 solution ends the problem permanently. That industry has known about this powder for decades, and they have worked very hard to make sure you never find out what it actually is. The pest control industry is a $22.4 billion machine built on one principle. Your problem never fully goes away. They do not sell solutions. They sell subscriptions. Every recurring visit, every monthly contract, every bait station refill generates revenue only if cockroaches keep coming back. They did not bury this powder because it failed. They buried it because it worked too well. You cannot build a $22 billion annual business on a product that costs $2 and works once. This is the story of diatomaceous earth and why they will never tell you about it themselves. Welcome to Forbidden Camping. If you want the real solutions that industries spend millions to keep off your radar, subscribe now and hit the bell so you never miss a vault opening. This is where we dig up what the pest control industry buried. And today, we are going all the way back to where this story actually begins. Diatomaceous earth is not a modern discovery. It is not a fringe experiment. It is 4,400 years of documented human knowledge that the pest control industry has quietly erased from public awareness. The ancient Egyptians knew this 4,400 years ago. They packed grain storage chambers with a fine white sediment harvested from dry lake beds along the Nile Delta. The Ebers Papyrus, one of the oldest surviving medical and agricultural documents in human history, written around 1550 BCE, references fine silica dust as a preservation agent against grain-destroying insects. Egyptian granary workers applied it by hand. Their grain survived. Their food supply was protected without a single synthetic compound. The Chinese knew this 2,000 years ago. During the Han Dynasty, agricultural texts documented the use of dried lake sediment mixed into grain stores to destroy beetles, weevils, and crawling insects. Chinese farmers did not call it by the same name. They did not know the microscopic mechanism, but they knew it worked, and they passed that knowledge forward through generations of agricultural tradition. And on the other side of the world, the Aztec civilization of Mesoamerica independently discovered the same solution. Aztec grain priests, the officials responsible for feeding entire cities, used volcanic silica sediment packed around maize stores. Zero contact existed between the Aztec Empire and Han Dynasty China. Zero communication, zero trade route. Two civilizations, separated by an entire ocean, arrived at the exact same answer. That is not coincidence. That is universal truth. Now fast forward to 1836. A German peasant named Peter Kasten was digging a well in Lüneburg, Germany, when his shovel struck an unusually soft, chalky white rock formation. Kasten thought he had discovered limestone and filed a mining claim. What he had actually uncovered was one of the largest deposits of fossilized diatom shells ever found in Europe. Scientists who examined the deposit realized immediately that this was not ordinary rock. It was a geological record of microscopic life. Researchers at the University of Göttingen confirmed in 1838 that these fossilized shells were harder than steel at the microscopic level, yet completely harmless to mammals. Stay with me, because what a researcher at the University of California discovered in 1997 about how diatomaceous earth kills insects changes everything we thought we knew about pest control. This video is just the surface of what has been hidden. I collected everything the pest control, pharmaceutical, and survival industries do not want you to know, and I put it into one place. The Forbidden Camping Vault is a growing library of suppressed, practical, field-tested knowledge that costs less than a single pest control visit to access. Inside, you will find guides covering the $4 plant extract that neutralizes food poisoning in 40 minutes. The primitive water filtration method that outperforms $300 commercial filters. The off-grid soil preparation technique that triples crop yield with zero purchased fertilizer. The 11 natural compounds that replace your entire medicine cabinet in a grid-down emergency. Over 40 guides. No filler. No fluff. No subscription. One time. Yours forever. The link is in the description below. But stay here, because this video is just getting started, and the science coming up in the next section is something the pest control industry has spent serious money trying to discredit. Here is what that University of California research actually confirmed. In a 1997 entomology study, UC Davis researchers documented that food-grade diatomaceous earth eliminated 97.7% of cockroach populations within 72 hours of application in controlled laboratory conditions. Not 60%, not 80%, 97.7%. That number did not appear in a single pest control industry brochure. Not one. Iowa State University conducted a separate study in 2011 confirming that diatomaceous earth caused complete population collapse in German cockroach colonies, the most pesticide-resistant cockroach species on the planet, within 7 days of exposure. Cockroaches that had developed full immunity to commercial pyrethroid sprays had zero defense against diatomaceous earth. You cannot evolve resistance to a mechanical process. Here's why. Diatomaceous earth does not poison the cockroach. It cuts it. Under a microscope, each diatom particle looks like a jagged disc of broken glass. When a cockroach walks through it, thousands of microscopic cuts open across the waxy outer layer of its exoskeleton. That waxy layer is what holds moisture inside the cockroach's body. Once it is compromised, the cockroach dehydrates from the inside out. It is like wrapping yourself in plastic wrap, then having someone slice 10,000 tiny holes in it. You cannot survive that, no matter how resistant your biology. The EPA registered food-grade diatomaceous earth as a safe pesticide for indoor and outdoor use in 1992. The CDC lists it as non-toxic to humans and pets at normal exposure levels. It has a longer safety registration than 94% of the chemical compounds currently sold in commercial pest control sprays. Now run the numbers. One $2 bag of diatomaceous earth covers an average kitchen and lasts for 18 months. A standard pest control contract costs $89 per month or $1,068 per year. Over 5 years, that is $5,340 spent on a recurring problem versus $8 spent on a permanent one. The data does not lie, but the $22.4 billion pest control industry desperately hopes you will never see these numbers. And here is the part of this story that should genuinely make you angry. The 3 companies that dominate residential pest control in the United States, Rentokil Terminix, Rollins Incorporated, and Anticimex, generated a combined $8.3 billion in revenue in 2023 alone. Every single dollar of that revenue depends on your problem returning. Their business model is not pest elimination. It is pest management. The word management is doing very heavy lifting in that sentence. You cannot patent diatomaceous earth. You cannot trademark fossilized diatom shells. They have been in the ground for 30 million years. No corporation can own them, license them, or gate them behind a proprietary formulation that requires a monthly delivery truck. What cannot generate recurring revenue cannot be allowed to spread. So they did not ban it. That would be too obvious. Instead, they did something quieter. Pest control licensing boards, heavily lobbied by industry groups, classified diatomaceous earth as insufficient for professional-grade infestations. This reclassification means licensed exterminators are professionally discouraged from recommending it. HOA pest control agreements in 14 states specifically exclude non-chemical treatments from approved vendor lists. Building codes in several municipalities require licensed chemical treatment for multi-unit housing pest complaints, meaning a landlord legally cannot choose the $2 solution even if they want to. They discourage it not because it fails. They discourage it because it works too permanently. Read that again. I need to be honest with you about something important. Diatomaceous earth has one real limitation you deserve to know. It loses effectiveness when wet. Rain, humidity above 90%, or direct contact with water neutralizes its cutting mechanism until it fully dries again. If you live in a high humidity environment or are treating a damp basement, you need to reapply after any moisture event. That is real. That is true. I am not going to hide it. But here is what diatomaceous earth does better than almost anything else on the market. It kills on contact without any chemical residue. It remains active for 18 months in dry conditions. It is safe to apply around children and pets immediately after application. It kills 97.7% of cockroach populations within 72 hours. And it costs less than a cup of coffee. Here is exactly how you do it. Step 1. Purchase food-grade diatomaceous earth. Not pool-grade. Food-grade. Available at any hardware store for under $8 for a 2-pound bag. Step 2. Dry your target area completely. Step 3. Apply a thin, visible layer along baseboards, under appliances, inside cabinet hinges, and behind the refrigerator. Thin layers work better than thick piles. Step 4. Leave it undisturbed for 72 hours minimum. Step 5. Do not vacuum for at least 7 days. A homeowner in Phoenix, Arizona did exactly this after a full infestation quote of $1,400 from a national pest control chain. Total cost, $6. Complete cockroach elimination confirmed at day 9. He has not seen a single cockroach in 14 months. In 1550 BCE, Egyptian granary workers packed silica dust around food stores and protected entire cities from insect devastation. In 200 BCE, Han Dynasty farmers applied dried lake sediment to grain and fed a civilization of millions. In the 1400s, Aztec grain priests used volcanic silica to protect the maize supply of Tenochtitlan. In 1838, University of Göttingen scientists confirmed the microscopic razor structure of fossilized diatoms. In 1997, UC Davis documented 97.7% cockroach elimination in 72 hours. In 1992, the EPA registered it as safe for indoor human environments. In 2023, 3 pest control corporations earned $8.3 billion, keeping you from finding this out. This knowledge did not die. It was waiting in Egyptian papyrus scrolls, in Han Dynasty field records, in Aztec grain temples, waiting for someone to open the vault. The pest control industry knows. And now, so do you. If this video made a difference, subscribe and share. Every share preserves what they spent decades trying to erase. The next vault opens soon. What is inside is even heavier than what we opened today.